So today I just wanted to share some thoughts with you because I've been doing a little bit of thinking, and every now and again I think it's a nice idea just to share where my head's at, because obviously I'm a working editor. Maybe that isn't obvious. I'm a working editor, and so I'm always kind of thinking about career. Where you are at may be different to where I am at, and sometimes it's nice to kind of talk a little bit about the journey going, because the journey is continuous throughout our entire career. And I noticed this Saturday there is a jobs fair happening, and I posted it within Unsplice Pro, shared it with the community, just in case there's anybody who is looking to move into film and TV, or work in film and TV. And it's a jobs fair for film and TV in London. And I was super excited by the idea, shared it. And over the next sort of day or two, I had to think really about, do I want to attend? Because I was really excited with the idea of working towards cutting more unscripted for broadcast. It's generally, that is what I cut, unscripted for broadcast. And I thought, do I want to move into more high-end stuff? And I just spent the day or two just really thinking about where am I going? What am I doing? And it kind of got me thinking that perhaps the reason I wanted to, and I was excited to attend this event, I wanted to move into film and TV, was not really to do with what I wanted and where I wanted to take my career, but rather a kind of reflective sense of how would other people perceive my career if I didn't move into high end. I was thinking more about Unsplice and how people would perceive the legitimacy of my skill set based on how high up, how the level of edit that I had worked on, the level of film, the level of has it been on Netflix, has it been on Hulu, has it been on wherever, and I wanted to move towards that based on that assumption that the higher the tier of, the higher the level of streaming platform or broadcast partner, the higher my perceived skill level. And I think that kind of stands to reason in a sense. And I think probably all of you listening have a similar view. You have this idea of working towards, okay, I want to work with this director, I want to cut with, I want to have some work on Netflix. That's my goal, working towards that. And I had a moment to reflect and think, is that actually something that I want? Or is it something that I think other people will expect of me? And I thought a little bit, because that doesn't really reflect your skill level. The things that you have worked on doesn't necessarily reflect your skill level. It reflects most definitely your networking skills and how good you are. And the more time I spend in the industry, and it's no surprise, but the more you realize how you are favored based on your network and how good you are at networking and the people that you know. And I thought about some of the programs that I've watched recently on Netflix, on HBO, maybe not HBO actually, but certainly Netflix, and the quality of editing on some of these documentaries and unscripted work really isn't that great. And I felt confident in my ability to be able to cut that better than it had been done. And so I felt this frustration as to why can I not get in touch with the people who are hiring for these sorts of programs? Why am I not the one cutting these? Because my portfolio shows that I'm capable of cutting them to a higher standard. And so I'm just sharing my my thoughts and kind of being a bit vulnerable with you, because I think it's something that we all go through from time to time, just kind of basing our worth on external factors rather than internal factors. I got thinking a little bit more, and I realized that was this idea of going to the film and TV jobs fair in London was based on this idea of wanting to meet other people's expectations. And really, I'm more comfortable and enjoy cutting commercials at the moment. And, I think we all go through phases, and I don't think that's a bad thing. So at the moment, I very much favor commercials, working on short form content. It also allows me more time to commit to this, to the podcast, to you. And I get a lot more joy from that. So I'm just kind of sharing these thoughts with you with an idea that perhaps it speaks to you as well, and maybe you're going through some similar ideas and trying to figure out what it is that you want to cut. I've been doing this year. One of my goals is to be represented by an editing agency for commercials. And I shared that within the Unsplice Pro community. I'm working my way towards that, and I've been spending a lot of time working on outreach, networking, and the more people I speak to, the more I've also realized that this side of the industry is also seemingly about connections, about pleasing certain people in order to work your way into the circle, shall we say. And that left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth, really, because I thought that was only related to broadcast and the silver screen. But it turns out high-end commercials also has its own circle. And to work your way into that, you really have to be entirely focused and only live within that circle. And so that was some really interesting information to learn. And so for these reasons and some of these thoughts, I've been thinking a bit about the direction I'm going and the where I want to place my efforts. Because by putting all of these efforts towards pleasing other people, I kind of leave my own desires behind. So I have to think a little bit about that. And just now I'm kind of sitting in a more comfortable place where I realize it's not really about pushing towards something that other people perceive as successful. And it's more about just setting your own parameters for success. And I guess that is going to be the name of this podcast. What is success? What does success mean to you? And kind of living within that. That's definitely something to sort of think about quite deeply, and just spend a little time rather than kind of putting all your time and efforts working towards something that you think will be an accolade, give you respect and admiration from your peers. Think about, are you doing it for external reasons, or is your goal that you're working towards for yourself and for internal reasons? Because once you have certain levels, certain comforts, money and shelter, income, and you are happy with your life and how things are, then searching for these external pieces of validation then becomes a bit of a dead end. When does it stop? You kind of have to be comfortable, and I've realized this, being comfortable with the work that you are taking on is part of the journey, and it doesn't have to be set by other people or external factors. Of course, if that really is everything that you dream of, then it stands to reason that you should give all of your energy towards that goal. But really, if your goal is just to work remote so that you can work wherever you want, or be with family or friends, or be in control of your time, have a steady income, and just edit, as long as it doesn't go against your principles, or super boring, perhaps like corporate interviews, if those are your parameters for success, then achieving them is going to be so much easier. And if you have a moment, sit down and write down exactly what success means to you, because this isn't the first time I've had this conversation with myself. And you kind of get, a year down the line, you kind of get swept up in this idea of this glamorous idea of working on these incredible projects. And it can pull you along if you're not careful. So having it written down, as I shall, is going to be a great way to ground myself every time I feel like I'm not keeping up with my goals of my career, or I'm not where I want to be. I have to kind of reground myself and think about, well, where do I actually want to be? And is that goal for me or for external validation reasons? Because as I've seen from watching some of the stuff on Netflix, working with Netflix does not make you a good editor. I've seen some pretty terrible edits. And I'm sure you've seen, even in movies, some pretty terrible editing. So it really doesn't dictate skill. It dictates your network and how good you are if you're at the right place at the right time. So that is just something I really wanted to share with you, and be a bit more vulnerable with you. Share my thoughts, where I'm at, and hopefully it speaks to you a little bit. And it's just a short one today, because this is just all I wanted to share with you. And so if this has struck a chord with you, then head to YouTube and write in the comments how it helped you, what you're going through as well. And let me know if you have any thoughts about everything that I've spoken about. It'd be really great to hear your thoughts. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm going to play the intro now as an outro. Cheers. See you soon.